So this is a polypropylene car part. This goes between the steering wheel here and the instrument cluster here. It's just on a Ford Mondeo, 2011 Ford Mondeo. This is smooth. This was smooth polypropylene, but I found a good solution to paint it. As you can see, that isn't coming off, that primer. It's not even leaving a mark. What I've done is, first I rough it down with some, just lightly sand it with some 5000 or 2000, just lightly sand it first. This is before I've put the primer on. Dust that off, then add a bit of alcohol to clean it off. Then put very thin layer of this on it. This is shellac primer. If you can't get this brand, it's shellac. It doesn't say it on the tin, but it's shellac primer, and it's designed to go over very tough stains. It dries very quickly, and it leaves a kind of chalky finish. It won't be scratch proof, but it will adhere very well to it, but it won't be scratch proof at that stage. Then sand it off again. You can use the underside of a sponge. You want it very light. You don't want to leave any marks, but sand it off and you can get it very smooth. Put another little thin coat on. You don't have to, but I do. A very thin coat. I use a sponge. Very thin. Sometimes barely any on there, and you just dab it, and you'll find that it sticks very well. It's not hard. It wants to stick onto it, but it isn't scratch proof at that stage. Just do it so that you get a pretty general white covering. This was black, of course. Let that dry. It'll dry in 2 hours, but I let it dry overnight. Sand it again. Sand it down nice and smooth with a 5000 or anything from 1000 to 5000. You can get it very smooth, but I tend to finish it off with a very fine paper. You can get it lovely and smooth. Then add some matte medium. This is just artist stuff. You don't have to spend much on it. It's cheap. You like £7 for a bottle. Put it on a sponge, dip it in, and just apply that. It's see-through, and just apply it very thinly. Make sure your sponge doesn't have any recesses in it, any bad recesses. It's got to be pretty smooth. Could even go smoother than that. Do it in the light so that you can see any marks you're making. And if you do make marks, remember you're going really thin. If you do make marks, dab it very lightly so that you create a texture which is very similar to the smooth surface of the original polypropylene. So you see any marks, it dries fairly quick, but not too quick. You've got quite a lot of time to mess around with it. And just do the whole surface. I do 1 coat of this, but you can do 2 coats if you want to make sure it's even. The thing about this is it dries to a very plasticky finish, but it is matte, and it's got a little tooth in it so that it takes paint, acrylic paint especially, very nicely when you paint on top of it. But the main reason you're doing it is to make the primer scratch proof, and it does, especially if you put 2 coats on it. It really makes it scratch proof. It just reacts with that chalky shellac, and to give you a really nice kind of scratch proof finish. Obviously if you take a chisel to this or something, you're going to get it off, but generally for knocks and scratches on the car, it's the perfect solution. On top of that, you can put your colour coat. Then on your colour coat, what I do is I use, on top of that, I would put another coat of this or 2 coats of this, or you can buy pouring medium, which is more of a glossy version of this, and it adds that plastic scratch proof surface to your paint. So you can use it on the primer, and you can use it the pouring medium, I would, which is more, it's called pouring medium. It's more of a glossy finish. It's got less of a tooth to it, but you can still paint on top of it. But I would use that for the final kind of varnish coat, particularly on pieces down by the seat that are prone to getting scuffed or bashed by your feet. Bear in mind, to fully cure, I would leave this at least 3 days. Do not touch it with your fingers before that, because it takes a long time to completely dry. And it's really good after a week, really. But it's totally fine to, to deal with after, overnight. Anyway, that's it for polypropylene.